What's up, everyone? The moment we've been waiting for is finally here. I'm excited to be here today with Richard by my side to present to y'all the new Silk V2. I mean, this one highly anticipated.
Oh yes,
it's been in the works. I guess it's been what, 2.5 years?
Yeah,
since the launch of the Silk. So yeah, with that, I'll hand it over to you, Richard. You were intimately involved in this one. Kind of give us your first thoughts.
Yeah, the Silk V1 has been a pretty popular foil for advanced rider to average rider, I would say.
Yeah.
Whether for prone foiling, wing foiling, anything, and wake foiling also, obviously. And it was quite challenging to get to do a V2 and without sacrificing basically what's been loved about it on V1, but still being able to improve basically the fact that the overall foiling level of riders has been improving quite a bit. We kind of knew year after years that there were some evolution, some things that we could expect from a high performance wave riding foil, and mainly just to go straight into it, like the behavior of the foil once the foil reached the surface, and the tips out and stuff like that, was something that we realized could be improved from the V1. So Laurent's been working on it since quite a long time to understand where could improve this level of forgiveness.
Yeah, the breach.
At the breach, basically, yeah. And that overall, like getting a bigger range on a foil is always something that we're going to look for, because bigger range, more forgiveness is basically the best way to be able to push even more in your riding. So it's getting the foil to be more accessible and also more radical in a new way. So that's always going to be the goal. And this Silk V2 now is available in modular version only. Mainly because we've been able to improve the choices on of the fuselage to make sure that the overall behavior of the foil is going to be matching either extreme turning or something that's going to be a bit more forgiving and more quiet turning, I would say.
Yeah.
Between the short fuselage, the standard fuselage, the advanced fuselage, you're going to have 3 levels of turning ability and stability, especially because you also have those 2 positioning on each of those fuselage, 2 positioning of the stabilizer, and between all the range of stabilizers also, basically you can make it fit what you need.
The tunability of the modular is
crazy good.
Yeah, and then the affordability, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I think at AFS it's always important to try to just keep pricing in line, and basically you can get 2 modular front foils for the price of 1 monoblock,
totally,
right?
Yeah.
And the fuse is interchangeable across the line, right? Like, whether you just came to AFS and, I'm going to fast forward in the future real quick, and you bought a really inexpensive aluminum fuselage, which is coming soon, or one of the more high-end fuselages, it's all the same connection. So that cross-compatibility across price ranges is really, I think, a key that AFS wants to reinforce and stand behind, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, it really feels like performance-wise, I mean, the way the system comes together, it's all like just super stiff. Like, I can't give anyone a good reason why we would keep them on block. And then the travel, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're all, even though the beauty of foiling is you can basically surf any wave, we're all still going out and looking for the perfect wave. The sense of adventure never ends. But so bring it back to the Silk V2. I think you were talking with Laurent, and you're talking about some of the differences in the sizes and the sweep, and a lot of work went into this. I think what I was impressed is, like, we did pick up a lot of range, I feel like, on the sizes and speed, right? The 850, I'm going to focus on the 850 because there was previously an 850, so it's an easy comparative. To me, just felt significantly faster. the breach is unreal. I think there were times where like I breached it to here and recovered. The carving is still there, right?
Totally, yeah.
And so to me, it's just the only things that have changed are for the better, which is the speed and the glide. The carving's still there. But yeah, sorry, let's talk about kind of what the difference is across the sizes, because generally they're scaled, except for one critical component of the foil.
Yeah, the diagonal of those foils has been adjusted like from each sizes has a specific diagonal that basically the tips are going to come back up earlier on a bigger surface than on the smaller surface. So trying to get a turning ability that's going to be, I wouldn't say comparable, but the foil feel is going to be pretty similar to small foil to bigger foil. So
yeah,
really easy adaptation for the rider using different sizes on the silk. The use of the new profile did increase quite a lot the low end of the foil. So even if the silk is not a foil that we recommend for mega high speed, that's not the main attribute of the silk, is not the speed. I would say that control and turning ability is obviously the attribute where the silk shines, and also the grunt that it has like makes it fantastic for obviously for any wave riding activity, but also full assist, power winging, anything that's going to get a bit challenging to get going on foil and to link some bumps or some waves together. Sometimes you get out of the wave without having the right speed to be an ideal speed to get to pump again. The combination of this forgiving and grunty profile plus the bumps makes it that you could go back to this ideal speed of pumping pretty easily.
Yeah,
and that's a big difference. So forgiveness overall of this foil makes it a foil that is I think one of the favorite foil on the market for that reason.
Yeah.
Riders love it for you.
And for those of you that the dihedral is kind of the curvature here from tip to tip, basically. So that's what evolves across the sizes. And then, the grunt, I think what's important to highlight here is like, I felt like the 750 had more grunt than the old 850.
I agree.
Even. Like we were, grave digging some of those pumps. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
even exciting
using
to see what folks do with it.
Even using smaller fuselage and smaller stabilizers that I wouldn't even use in the past. And I feel like the forgiveness of the foil gives you options on going more radical on the positioning on your stabilizer, on the size of your stabilizer, on the way you ride. You're not scared of reaching the surface with your foil anymore. Like you really could push harder on it.
Yeah.
And if you need accessibility, that's typically a foil that is going to give you what you need. And something to not forget to mention, we have extra sizes compared to CLB1. We're going to get now from 650. We're actually even talking about 550 now. There's a 650 that's going to come up around May. 750, 850, and 950 are already available now. And 1050 and 1150 are going to come in May also.
Yep. Yeah, the new sizes is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Because I do think you're sizing down a little bit, right? So the folks that wanted a 1250, for example, in the previous one, I think that 1150 is going to scratch that itch plenty. And then, the smaller sizes are going to be very exciting. Speaking of stabilizers, right? It's, all of the stabilizers are good, right? The glide, the carve, and the surf. It just depends on, you take the surf if you want to prioritize carving. Which doesn't make
tight turning.
Tight turning. Yeah. You want to prioritize surfing and that type of behavior. The carve for the greatest use range, overall, and then the glide for speed and glide.
Exactly. Yeah. So anybody using a silk for a downwinder or upwind downwind on power wing in decent to high speed condition, fast moving swell, for example, the ultra glide on the silk is going to boost the glide dramatically. And obviously, if you're not chasing fast moving swell, using a U-carve or using a U-surf is more than fine.
Yeah.
the middle ground of the U-carve is obviously something that would make me choose most of the time the U-carve, because in case you're facing a big variety of condition on a trip or on a session, it will match most.
Yeah,
what's needed.
Yeah, and you just reminded me, talking about pairwing, like, incidentally, I feel like we've created, I hate to be this extreme, but kind of the perfect foil for all of the trendiest practices. Not just pairwing, but foil assist. Yeah, I mean, this is like a lot of fun. If you're pairwing where you just want to carve, just slay some turns on your run, this is a lot of fun. And for foil drive or foil assist, I mean in general, the range, right, and the capability, with the 750, we were riding from knee high to shoulder.
Yeah, that's
head.
crazy. I was not expecting that, actually.
No, and relatively comfortable on all of it.
Pump around with it. The grunt is key component. The combination of grunt and rail to rail is just for the foil assist. I feel like it's the game changer for that.
Yeah. So yeah, great uses. I mean, Silk V1 probably our biggest seller for winging, right? And obviously wake, and I think we need to give a go on the dock start on the 950, because I think it could work really well with the grunt it has. It could be a lot of fun to go. And
for a comparison with the Enduro, because I think the question is going to come at some point. For a comparison with the Enduro is quite a lot slimmer. So the low speed forgiveness on the Enduro is not going to be as good as the Silk if you compare surface area that are going to be comparable. So anything that's going to be fast moving swell, downwinding, any wave riding on something that's not going to be that steep, Enduro comes into play big time. For anything where the control is going to be something that you will appreciate a bit more, steeper condition or condition where the swell is not going to be as fast moving, Silk becomes, I think, the better choice. And in some condition, some activities, the grunt of your foil is going to be something really precious. The Silk is going to be the one to me. But yeah, both foil are amazing. You could rip some crazy turn with the Enduro and the Silk, obviously. So they all have their place. They feel different, but obviously the Silk V2 with the latest trend is something to look for, I agree.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Richard, and walking us through this. Look forward to seeing everyone out there ripping some turns with us.